Hello, this is Hot Indonesia, and welcome to all of you watching us in Manila. I'm Dalton Taranaka in Jakarta, and here is this week's HI Hotlist. Faithful choice. A daughter of Indonesia's first president changes religion. Will anyone protest? We ask Endy Bayuni, senior editor at the Jakarta Post. See no evil. Cigarette displays in stores are banned. Will that make any health difference? And Unsafe Crossing. Why going home from school shouldn't be this dangerous. Here are my co-hosts, Sandrina Malakiano, Deputy CEO of Polmark Indonesia from her home in South Tangerang, and Millie Lukito is CEO of the Mobiliari Group from her home in Jakarta. Hot topic number one, faithful choice. She is the daughter of Indonesia's founding father, and in a ceremony in Bali this week, Sukmawati Soekarno Putri officially converted from Islam to Hinduism. Family members reportedly gave their blessings to the change. This is notable because in a country that's nearly 90% Muslim, conversions are not generally well accepted. But in this case, the circumstances are different. Sandrina, briefly tell us why.
Dalton, in my perspective, there are two sides of religion we need to understand. First, religion or faith as a form of teaching that connects human beings with their God, and religion or faith as guidance for people in living together and building a civilization. As a form of teaching that links or connects people with their God, religion becomes a very, very personal or private matter. This is an area that should not or must not be intervened by anyone. Every human being must be given or should have all the right to choose his or her own religion and to practice their religious teachings or beliefs. So I believe Sukmawati's decision to convert from Islam to Hinduism should not be seen as some sort of controversial issue. It is entirely Sukmawati's right to decide or choose her own religion or faith. Of course, there is this underlying context, namely that Sukmawati is a public figure, so it goes with the territory. What she does or chooses as she walks her life would receive the public's attention, become a topic of discussion. This is just how it works when one becomes a public figure, especially
But it also has the religious connotations, which we'll get to shortly. Millie, quickly, as a Catholic, do you have a problem with this?
I do not have a problem with this. But in Indonesia, unfortunately, sometimes politics and religions are closely intertwined. And given that the election year is soon upcoming, some cynics, of course, see this as a political move. And the Soekarno family, they are really very strong, and they actually originate from Bali. So Hindu is, of course, their primary, at that time, religion. But the fact that there is this sudden shift and desire to change into Hinduism might be seen by some cynics as a political move.
Okay, let's get more input on this and bring in Endy Bayuni. He is a founding board member of the International Association of Religion Journalists and senior editor at the Jakarta Post. Endy, thank you very much for joining us. Picking up what Millie said, if it's a political move, to me, that's a bad political move. You're alienating the largest group of people in this country, the people belonging to the biggest religious group. From your perspective, Endy, how extraordinary is this?
Well, in Islam, when you convert out of the faith, you are considered as murtad, and murtad is seen as the biggest sin in Islam. That's one side. But on the other side, I think Islam also recognizes that faith is something that you cannot force on people. And there is a verse in the Quran that says there is no compulsion when it comes to matters of faith. So I think that the reaction so far has been pretty quiet. We have not seen any controversy. But within Islam, murtad, like I said, is a big sin. In some countries, or in Islamic countries, Islamic states, like Saudi Arabia and Iran, that is actually punishable by death. In some cultures, in Arabic cultures, there is this so-called honorary killings, and they have stories of people who converted out or they were assassinated by their own families because to protect the honors. We don't have that culture in Indonesia, thank God, and we are not an Islamic state. I think so far people are respecting this decision of Sukmawati. It was good that Muhammadiyah Secretary General Abdul Muti came up with a statement saying this is a personal affair, and she went through the spiritual journey to discover the truth, to discover peace, and she made the decision. And then he said we should respect that, and he actually also said that we should wish her well and peace with her new religion. So,
Andy, maybe she's protected. Now, let's be straight on this. If she were perhaps an ordinary citizen, an ordinary Muslim, and not a public figure, and he or she changed faith, and the neighbors and the family knew about it, there would be a big pushback, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we have seen many celebrities converting in and out of Islam. But they're celebrities, right? And they convert for marriage reasons or for whatever. But I think in terms for Sukmawati, she went through the spiritual journey, and people knew this. Well, at least the Muhammadiyah section realized that and said that she found peace there, and good luck to her. There will be discussions within mosque about the conversion. But she is 70 years old. I don't think she has any power ambitions. So it would not be so much politicized. Maybe politicized by the fact that she's the sister of Megawati, who is still very powerful. But we have not seen that yet.
Well, she has her own political party. Okay, Sandrina, question for Endy.
Yes, Endy, in Indonesia, everything that relates to religion often becomes a very sensitive issue and could easily spark a huge fire. In this context, back in the New Order era, President Suharto limited the media's space or ability by saying that it is to present this sensitive issue from causing social disharmony and disturbing the country's political stability. Suharto banned news coverage on issues related to ethnicity, religion, race, and intergroup relations. But nowadays, the government can no longer implement such restrictions. Even if they want to, they can't, because people have such broad media access with almost unlimited freedom, the social media. So what should be done to ensure that our unlimited freedom does not violate other people's constitutional rights in choosing or practicing, believing, respecting their own religion or faith?
Yeah, well, I think we want to protect this freedom, because it's a basic human right. And we are, especially now with the social media and the internet, we are seeing all kinds of speeches, hate speech, disinformation, but we're also seeing a lot of good speech, or love speech, if you want to call it, as opposed to hate speech. So I think we have to leave it to the people to make the decisions about what they want to read, what they want to access in the internet. Some of them would access the hate speech and disinformation, though maybe they would be affected. But hopefully, I think this is the challenge for people who actually want to maintain peace and harmony, is for us to populate the internet, the social media, with our versions of interpretation of religion, if you like, that do not lead to hate of the other faith.
Okay, Millie, question for Endy?
Yes, I would like to ask, given that for a Muslim to convert, usually, like you said, there is this connotation of being murtad. So do you think that someone like Sukma, in her position, should be more communicative about her intention so that there is no room for wrong interpretation in this very critical move in her life? Do you think that she has to come out more, communicate more, and talk more to the people?
There would probably be one way of doing it, but I think another way of doing it is actually to keep it private, keep it a low profile, and not attract so much attention. And I think she had done the right thing. She explained her reason for conversion. Her grandmother was Hindu, and she actually explained that she went through the spiritual journey to discover the truth. And then she sent out the invitation. There was not many people were invited, but I think President Jokowi was invited. That's what I read in the news. But the conversion was a very private. The ceremony was very private, and I think the media in Indonesia respected that. There was not so much coverage. If there was so much coverage, I think this would be politicized. And then if she tried to explain it, this could also be politicized, not used against her, but actually more used against her sister. So what I see at the moment, I think the publicity is good enough. We don't need more, because then would attract attention and create a huge debate, which we don't really need.
And I think you mentioned the president and the cabinet were invited, and unless they were in disguise, I don't think they attended. So they all wanted to keep a low profile. Endy Bayuni, senior editor at the Jakarta Post, thank you very much for those insights. Hot Indo will continue shortly with See No Evil. Will the ban on cigarette store displays have a healthy effect?
Saya ingin mengumumkan kerjasama dengan The Indonesia Channel. Saya mendorong semua entitas untuk bergabung dalam upaya ini dengan mempromosikan produk dan layanan mereka di platform digital yang unik ini.
Welcome to Foodipedia. Every week in this program, I will introduce you to one of Indonesia's fabulous food items. Yummy. Beautiful. Now, I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. It's done. Let's meet to eat.
Foodipedia on the Indonesia Channel.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân of VCCTV Net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thomya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia Channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia Channel. The best of Bali, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Millie, Sandrina, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, See No Evil. It's been nearly 5 months now since a ban on cigarette displays at the point of sale took effect here in the capital. Governor Anies Baswedan took that action to discourage impulse buying and to discourage young people from picking up the habit that has proved to be bad for your health. Good attempt to keep temptation out of sight, but Millie, this will only impact the potential customers, not the diehard smokers, right?
Right. And this is not enough, of course, to manage addiction. And smoking is already, in my own view, smoking is much worse than, say, taking cannabis, medical marijuana, for example. So smoking should be banned, you know, from everything, from everybody, from this country. But to me, again, this is a very nice consensus between the the cigarette producers, so that they are seen to be able to manage the damage that they have been doing to this country, which to me is very sad, but it's really not enough to manage addictions.
Do you like to see a total ban? I mean, that'll never happen. I mean, as we know, tobacco is a $40 billion industry in this country, and we are the second largest consuming market in the world behind China. More than a third of all adults smoke here, ladies, as we know and we see and we smell every day. Sandrina, retailers covering up the product with cloth is not going to do much.
Yes, I agree. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to change a lot. Smokers will just not be affected. They know where to purchase and what they want to buy without the need of seeing the products on display. Especially now, you can buy almost everything online, including cigarettes. The impact of hiding cigarettes from public display in stores would probably only have an impact on, as you mentioned, on not exposing the products to the young non-smoking generation. But even about this, I'm still quite unsure, as again, everyone has access to social media, all sorts of online news and advertisement. They could get to know cigarette products from there. If their parents are smokers also, they become familiar with the products. So I don't believe that covering the display will have any significant impact.
Yeah, this is kind of a low-tech solution to the problem. Let's talk about this. The average cost of a pack of cigarettes in the U.S. is $8, okay? In Australia, $27. Here, it's less than $2 a pack. So, Millie, maybe to help get people to stop smoking, make it more expensive. Raise a tobacco tax.
Yes, but again, the tobacco producers, they are very strong lobbyists, Dalton, and they know how to lobby and how to influence their way into what they want, which is to distribute even more poison to especially the young generation. What can I say? My position is very, very strong in this. Cigarettes should be banned, and the government should, together with the people and the decision makers, just ban cigarette altogether. Make it even tougher for them to have space, retail space or promotional space whatsoever. Just stop cigarette from our country.
Okay, well, you know, obviously that would be coming from the health standpoint. But as we know, you know, health concerns are not high here in Indonesia. It's basically kind of a developed country, middle class concern. Sandrina, can you let our viewers outside of this country know if there is any kind of sizable or growing anti-smoking movement here?
There are, but not big ones. It is not an easy movement to form, Dalton. There are movements like Gerakan Anak Indonesia Sehat Tanpa Rokok or the Cigarette-Free Healthy Indonesian Children movement, as well as other forms of movements that carry the same purpose. But again, this is not an easy fight, never has been, as it is not just a fight or movement against the habit of smoking, but against huge cigarette companies with massive advertisement and promotions. The high-budget ads these companies make are always so nice, captivating. They infiltrate into the community, go as far as small villages throughout the country. And aside from tobacco cigarettes, now, Dalton, I'm sure you're aware of this, there are more and more electronic cigarette options. These e-cigarettes or vapes are becoming more and more popular amongst the young generation. So yes, I would say that we've got a long way to go.
And getting back to our original point of covering the cigarette displays in storefronts, I haven't seen any. I've seen maybe one in a photo. People are not really complying, so that's another issue.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah, about enforcement. Okay, more Hot Indo is ahead. Unsafe crossing for these third graders on their way home from school.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Dropping your hands to the mat, just step it back and out and up to the sky. Up through your fingertips. Reach your right hand back behind your head. Let your hands separate forward and then start.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia channel.
Playlist.
Semuanya perasaan, rasa cinta ku persembahkan untukmu di dalam lubuk hatiku. Tolong lihat aku dan jawab pertanyaanku.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's hot topic number 3, Unsafe Crossing. This video taken in September in South Sumatra shows third graders paddling across a river to get home from school. They are using discarded styrofoam containers as boats and pieces of styrofoam as paddles. Now, the river isn't flowing fast, but it's 120 meters across. Village leaders reportedly visited the location after the video hit social media and told parents to forbid their kids from doing this, but no one said, but one village official said not to make more out of this as the children here are used to the water. Now, Sandrina, as a parent, this should not be treated as playtime.
I agree. Nobody should take this matter lightly, Dalton. It is never a small thing when it comes to safety matters, and what we saw, that child floating or crossing the river in a styrofoam box or container could look like a fun thing to do. And as you said, they say all these children can swim, used to the water. Still, that is not a proper raft. It could break anytime, and who is to know how the river water is going to flow at all times? What if suddenly a huge current hits? This is about changing the people's way of thinking, to not simplify serious matters, because we know that this is not due to the lack of infrastructure. There are proper means of transportation that exist there. Boats are used to take the school children across the river on a daily basis. So the government should also keep an eye on this issue, make sure that adequate means of transportation are always available, and ban people from crossing the river using unsafe water vehicles like that styrofoam box.
And it goes back to parents. I mean, your parents have to crack down and say, hey, I don't ever want to see you do that again. Millie, Sandrina mentioned this, but it could be another example of the lack of infrastructure in rural areas. Maybe not in this particular case, because I understand there's a bridge nearby and maybe the kids thought it was fun. But whatever the reason, the adults need to monitor this kind of activity so there is no tragedy that we have to report on.
Yes, correct. But I did a bit of research, and apparently in that area, yes, there are some bridges, but that's a little bit like a far walk for the children to reach the bridge and to cross the river. So the infrastructure is there, but for the kids, it's just much more fun to do it. And I remember during the floods, when I was floods in Jakarta and I was only maybe 8 years old, I like actually riding on a styrofoam and go against the current or even with the current of the floods. So it's child play, number one here. But there are bridges there, Dalton.
Yeah. And we're glad you're still with us, Millie. Not a good example, but you were just a kid. Okay. It is feedback time now. Erlanga posted this on the YouTube page of our partner TV1, asking whether foreign nationals must download the government COVID-19 app upon arrival. It's pointless if we can't track their movement that could lead to a third wave. Good point, Erlanga. And Dre had this to say about this image that we discussed. This photo deserves international recognition. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words, Sandrina.
For those of you who plan to go to Bali this weekend or are currently in Bali, I would like to invite you to visit the Ubud Village Jazz Festival. This jazz festival will be held until tomorrow, Saturday, end of this month, at Arma Museum. So this would be a really good event to join if you want to enjoy some really good live music. Go there.
Jazz, yeah. Final words, Millie.
Yes, I'm going to travel in the month of December and January. But I'm hearing now new terms like VTL, Vaccinated Travelers Lane, and this lane, the non-VTL, and I'm just wondering, will I survive in the new post-COVID travel? I hope so.
Please report back to us. And my final words, a vegan is someone who avoids the consumption or use of any products of animal origin. And on Monday, November 1st, it's World Vegan Day. The best of health and peace of mind to all my vegan friends. Let us go out and have tofu, spinach, lasagna, and a Coke.
Thank you.
I did the research. A Coke is vegan. You knew that, right, Millie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Not very healthy, but it's vegan. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sandrina Malakiano and Millie Lukito, I'm Dalton Tanonaka. Thank you very much for watching. Please join us again next time.